guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Anastasia, and today we're going to be watching episode 4 of Jenelle's docu-series, I Have Something to Lie About, Something to Say. This one was released yesterday. She was a little late on the upload there, and it only has about 30,000 views as of when I'm posting it, which it does tend to go up over time, but I just find it funny that every video she releases, the views go down pretty significantly. And this one mostly focuses on David's anger management class, as I've heard, so let's go ahead and get started.
Court went on and on and on. We would go once a week, twice a week. Sometimes it would be postponed for 2 weeks, and we would have to sit there wondering what is going to happen. My lawyer pulled me and David to the side in a separate room when one of the cases got continued. He said, from here on out, it's going to be a big uphill battle. They're going to try to require you to do substance courses, domestic violence, anger management, drug tests, pill count. So they wanted all this. What did we do? We did it immediately. We went to anger management, substance abuse classes. I went to domestic violence, co-parenting classes.
I just think it's funny how they're saying they suggested this stuff. You know, we didn't have to do this, but at the same time, the lawyer said it's going to be an uphill battle. So maybe it was a suggestion in the fact that they weren't dragging you to these classes and forcing you to go. But essentially they're saying, you know, if you don't do it, you're probably not going to get your kids back. So suggestion, like, if you have a job, they suggest, you know, you come in on time. You know, it's not really a suggestion. Let's pause here and take a look at David's anger management report. So it starts off with talking about David growing up in a rural community. In other words, he was a big old redneck. No offense to people who live in rural communities, but look at David. He's not a good example. He shared that his childhood was difficult and he was picked on for being poor. Well, luckily, he grew up and started dating $400,000 a year making reality star Jenelle, only for him to sabotage her entire career on MTV and get her fired. So, looks like you're back to being poor. Dang, that sucks, dude. Almost like it was all your fault. His father taught him to shoot guns, hunt and fish, blah, blah, blah. David reported that his mother had a drug problem. He did not have positive conflict management style exhibited for him in the home. His father taught him to punch dead trees in the woods for an anger outlet. Which, although it's a little bit weird, I mean, at least he's punching a dead tree and not a person. I mean, maybe you'll even get some splinters and learn your lesson. He struggled socially throughout school. In other words, don't nobody liked him then either. He was not involved in physical altercations other than one in 12th grade when he felt he was provoked when the school quarterback sexually harassed his girlfriend at the time. In other words, the dude probably just hit on his girlfriend and he was like, "You trying to take my woman, bro? You trying to take my woman?" And that's most likely what ensued. He has mental illness and substance abuse in his family history. His brother has been in and out of prison. David has a history of physical altercation. David shared an incident in the past where his brother was intoxicated and beat him so badly in a hotel room he suffered severe injuries. David believed his brother was trying to kill him. I think there's 3 sides to every story, and I have no doubt in my mind that they were both trying to kill each other. David has a history of thyroid cancer. He has one marriage previous to his current one, reported there was infidelity and substance abuse. Has a legal history of probation for trespassing, stealing scrap metal. I mean, if that's not some druggy shit, I don't know what is. It says here at the bottom, the children are currently removed from the home due to reports that David punched a hole in the wall and that he and his wife curse around the children. The children were removed and put into custody of other family members pending assessments and court hearings. Now let's look at the second paper that she shows. David currently meets criteria for adjustment disorder, which essentially is just feeling a large amount of stress after a large adjustment in your life, such as having all 3 of your kids taken out of the home. He has that along with mixed anxiety and depression. Mood disorder can be ruled out. David recognizes that the bad stuff I've been through changed me. He does assess to have high levels of anger and frustration. And then this next part here makes me question how legit this is. It says David has several strengths. He is well spoken and communicates well as displayed in the provider's office. I mean, does he really though? David appears motivated for treatment and keeps appointments. When you don't have a job, it ain't too hard. He has insight and recognition of his areas that need improvement and is motivated to be a positive and healthy role model. He's open to hearing different perspectives, different from his own. How long was this session? Like 20 minutes? Like how long is David able to hold it together? Because everybody can fake it for a little bit, can't they? Concerns for David as he continues toward his goals include some of his cultural belief systems. David has experienced hardships as a child into young adulthood that has shaped the way he responds to stress. Yet he is open to learning alternative responsive. Co-parenting with his ex-wife is a challenge. Other immediate concerns include his children being away from the home and limited access to seeing him. With each passing day, counselor noted increased duress and decline in mood. Like I said, you can't hold it together and fake for too long because the real you starts to show eventually. And I feel like if this counselor had continued sessions with him, as if David would show up to continued sessions if he wasn't basically required to, then it probably would have shown that he's actually psycho. I mean, if he couldn't keep it together on a reality show where you're showing everybody your life and you know that every little thing you do is going to be picked apart, then you know that behind closed doors, it's even worse. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue on.
And we volunteered to do a hair follicle drug test, which goes back, I think, a year to 3 years.
90 days. Hair follicle tests go back 90 days and no more.
I don't know, as long as they want to go back.
No, it's not as long as they want to go back. Why do I get the feeling that Jenelle probably thinks because her hair is long that it goes further back? Like, that just seems like something she would probably think. But no, it goes back 90 days, and that's it. Like, this is easily Googleable stuff, Jenelle.
100%. Did anyone ever order us to go get all this done? No. Was it a suggestion? Yes. So we took it as the best advice.
Like I said, it was a suggestion in the sense that they're like not going to drag them over there. The cops aren't going to drag them to these classes. But it's basically like if you don't do it, your chances of getting your kids back are extremely reduced. So it's basically they have to do it. And not only that, neither of them have jobs. They also don't even have the job of childcare anymore because they didn't have any of their kids. So it's like, what else are these bitches going to do all day? Might as well.
That we were given from our lawyer, and we went and got everything done we had to.
Hey y'all. Looking like a hot mess right now, but it's alright. I'm sitting here in the car waiting on David to get out of his second anger management session. So everything that's been happening lately is just, I know it's crazy. I know I haven't been able to tell anyone. I've been quiet, but I'm just going to start documenting everything and let you guys in on what goes on. This journey has been really hard so far. Right now, I have to sit here, wait on David, about an hour for the anger management session. He does it one-on-one with this lady. I met her. She's really nice, really understanding. And, yeah, he's going to do about 6 sessions. It's going to be an hour for each session, $100 for each session. Which is so that's $600 to get this anger management class completed.
This is like, a bragging point for her, or like, look how much we're sacrificing. We had to pay $600 out of pocket for these classes. Jenelle was making somewhere in the range of $400,000 to $500,000 a year with MTV. For several years now, they'd been making about that much per year. So if you're making that much per year and you haven't saved $600, I don't know what to say, girl. That's not a bragging point. Like, you guys should have easily been able to pay that. Please don't take away resources from people who actually need it just because you can't open a bank account and save like $600.
Other than that, earlier today we went to a substance assessment, which you go and you speak to a counselor and you tell them if you use drugs, when you use drugs, history of using drugs, anything like that. And then they send it off to Child Protective Services. Class. So we're doing everything we can. We're cooperating every way we can for CPS. And it's just really sad.
Are the waterworks coming on?
FaceTime conversations with your kids.
Didn't even need the onions this time.
And they're always saying, I want to come home. And when you go visit them, they just hold on to you. They don't want to let you go.
All these waterworks got me feeling a little thirsty.
And they just want to come home. So bad. I've been having nightmares about my kids being taken from me.
She keeps saying it's a nightmare, her kids getting taken for her. Your kids were taken from you. The nightmare is happening, honey. I don't know why you're getting panic attacks from this. It already happened. Like, when your nightmares become reality, I mean, that's a sad life.
I'll wake up with panic attacks. I'll wake up in the morning throwing up from having too much anxiety during the day. And at night, I wake up like, oh, I have to get the kids ready for school. And they're not there. And sometimes I can talk to Kaiser, sometimes I can't. Sometimes, Nathan's busy, and sometimes we argue, and he doesn't let me talk to Kaiser. Me and my mom, we're not doing good at all. Our relationship has just crashed. It was going good until all this hit the fan, and then my mom just went to court and basically just said that David is a bad person. David shouldn't be allowed around kids. She had no reason why. She just said he had an anger problem.
Well, the anger problem is the reason. That's kind of a big deal. But I just find it interesting how Barbara's not in this episode, but she was in the past 3 episodes. And Barbara was in the past 3 episodes saying the CPS investigation was ridiculous. It was unfounded. His anger issues aren't a big deal. I don't agree with any of this. That's all stuff that Barbara was saying. But in this video right here, which Jenelle filmed back when it was going on, she's like, oh, I'm not getting along with my mom because she's saying all this horrible stuff about David. So what happened between then and now that Barbara just did a complete 180? She was being honest here, I think, when she's saying, I'm concerned for the kids with David there. And now she's like, in her little documentary being like, Jenelle didn't really do anything wrong. David, all he has is a little bit of a tiny little anger issue. It's not a big deal or anything. Like, what happened? Janelle herself here is saying that Barbara didn't always have that point of view. So I don't know if money talks or Barbara forgot. I don't know. It's weird.
Same thing with Marissa. I know you guys been hearing lately, Marissa went on stand. She said the truth about what happens at the land. Well, the truth is that Marissa said we just cuss at each other. That's it. So that's why my kids are taken from me.
And the
I just don't
holes
get it.
Punched in the wall.
CPS claims we were
25 911
uncooperative.
calls.
You know why? Because I have a gate at the end of my 500-foot driveway. And every time they came, they left a note in my mailbox and left. They didn't call me to tell me that they were at the end of my driveway. When we have the mosquito guy come to spray our land, when we have the pool guy come clean our pool, they call us when they're at the end of the driveway and we let them in, no problem. We would never have a problem showing them our house or anything. Before CPS had the petition signed to get the kids taken away, they took Kaiser without even having...
So I guess what she's saying here is that CPS came to their house and they didn't buzz in to let them know they were there. So they're like, David and Jenelle are uncooperative. They're not answering the door. I believe that they're probably lying and Jenelle and David probably saw CPS there and was like, don't let their ass in. Because David has spoken in the previous videos. I have cameras everywhere. We got cameras on the gate, we got cameras on the door, we got Ring cameras everywhere, all over my house, so come through, come try to fight me, we got cameras everywhere, you're gonna be shot on sight, blah, 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 blah. So if they have all these cameras everywhere, with Ring cameras, your phone goes off if someone comes to the door, so even if CPS wasn't buzzing in, which I'm sure they weren't stupid enough to not know how that works and try to buzz in the gate, you probably would have seen them on your Ring camera. You probably knew that they were coming that day. Maybe they called and told you they were coming, but you just didn't want to let them in because you're like, CPS ain't coming through here. So that's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe CPS was too stupid to buzz in the gate. I think Jenelle and David didn't want to let them in. And they probably weren't cooperative, but that's just my opinion.
A judge's signature. They told Kaiser's grandmother to come get him from school. And Kaiser's grandmother took him out of school, didn't even check him out with a computer, and they had no idea where Kaiser was. And that's when they called me saying that there's an emergency and I need to call them as soon as possible. So I called them. They tell me, call CPS. Kaiser's grandmother took him. So what do? I go call CPS, and they tell me you need to involuntarily sign your kids over, and if you don't, they will go to a foster home. I said, well, why? What are the allegations? Well, you have to come to our office and sign these papers, and then we'll tell you the allegations. I said, no, I'm not signing those papers, and I'm talking to my lawyer. I'll give you a call back. Called my lawyer. My lawyer said they have no grounds to do this. Go get your son. So I tried my hardest to get Kaiser back on Mother's Day weekend. And his grandmother said, we're at the condo, which is her condo down the street. We asked her, we said, where's the condo? She said, you've been there before, you know where it is. So then, I asked Nathan, where's the condo? He said, I'm not giving you the address. Kaiser's in an unsafe situation, and you don't need to have him right now. And so then Kaiser was gone for Mother's Day weekend.
Correct me if I'm wrong. So she's saying she asked Kaiser's grandma, where's the condo? And she said, you know where it is. And say, hey, I don't know where it is. Tell me. Did she not do that? I mean, she didn't mention doing that. Did she do that and she said no? I mean, it sounds to me like she just gave up and then called Nathan because she wanted to talk to Nathan, and then Nathan wouldn't give it to her either. Like, there's ways you could solve some of these situations. She's making it so much more dramatic than it needs to be. Just ask his grandma, say, hey, I don't remember where it is. Tell me the address, please. Cooperate. And if she doesn't do it, then I guess you can complain about that. But if she does do it, it's like, why don't you try to do that? There's so many other ways to solve these problems. It's almost like they just didn't want to get Kaiser just so they could say, I was away from Kaiser for Mother's Day weekend. That's what it seems like.
My mom wouldn't let me have Jace for Mother's Day weekend just because CPS said I advised Jace not to go there. They didn't have any paperwork signed by any judge. They didn't have any authority to take my children at all. And now we're going through all this. And I'm just, trying to stay strong and doing what they're asking us to do and cooperating. Like I said, I would from the beginning. But I'll check back in later and let you guys know another update.
Did you have fun today? What did you do?
I don't know.
You don't know? Yeah, you do.
I don't.
Did you do anything fun? Did you go to the trampoline park?
No.
Oh.
But Mommy.
What?
Mom, when I come back, can I go to trampoline park?
Yeah, we can do that.
When I come back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, what was in our systems when it came back for the hair follicle test? Marijuana. So,
Shocker.
I mean, we're openly honest. We have medical marijuana cards in California. We smoke when we're out of town. We don't smoke around the kids. Anyway,
I don't think North Carolina or South Carolina, wherever she's from, has medical marijuana. So she's saying she has the card in California. She only smokes when she's out of town. That's kind of bullshit. Now, I don't think weed is the hugest deal as long as you're not pregnant, but it isn't legal where she is. Even if it's legal in California, she's smoking at home. I mean, she's not just smoking when she's in California. That's bullshit. She's smoking probably every day at home. And that is something that they can take your kids for. So even if you don't think weed is a big deal, they can take your kids for that. So it's something you have to keep in mind and think, is weed more important or is keeping my children more important? Stop smoking for a few days, maybe.
it was in the tabloids that we had to give psych evaluations and that they are ordered to and they have to. We were considering it a little bit just because we were trying to cooperate. We weren't ordered to do anything. We were just voluntarily, okay, let's go check out a psych evaluation. So we went to Raleigh, me and David, and we went to a psych evaluation place, and they ended up giving us 3 papers, a 500 questionnaire, and then they gave us 3 additional ones were about each child that you had in the household. Me and David looked at this and got anxiety, and we said, no, this is the only...
You looked at this and got anxiety. Okay, if you guys ever applied for a job, and I mean any job, they give you a ton of questions most of the time, right? It's this big old questionnaire, but Jenelle and David probably haven't had jobs in like 5 to 10 years, 5 years for David whenever he started dating Jenelle, and probably 10 years for Jenelle. So when's the last time they saw a big old questionnaire in school? Which they probably failed all those too, so they looked at all these questions and they were just... oh, so much anxiety. It's not a huge deal, guys. It's for your kids.
This is the only thing we're going to refuse, because we talked to our lawyer about it, and our lawyer literally said, if you get a psych evaluation, it is because you are so mentally unstable and they have evidence
Both
that
of
you have
y'all.
to prove yourself. Well, there was no allegations against us that we were mentally unstable.
Yes, there were.
We denied it. We didn't do it. We got lunch and we went home. And we had to drive 3 hours to Raleigh, so... that was a big waste of time.
So y'all drove 3 hours to get a psych evaluation, saw, too many questions, I have anxiety, and drove 3 hours the fuck back. Like, guys, most likely what I'm thinking is they didn't want to do a psych evaluation because it's going to reveal their many psychological problems. Now, there's nothing wrong with having, bipolar disorder, which I'm pretty sure Jenelle has, or, whatever David has, but it's like they didn't want to reveal what they knew that those tests would probably reveal, because they would probably reveal a whole slew of issues. I mean, there's no question that Jenelle and David have a lot of mental problems, and there's nothing wrong with having mental problems, but there is something wrong when you don't handle it well, which they clearly do not. You're bragging about, ooh, I saw those questions and I dipped right out.
So, babe, how was anger management?
Well, I mean, I wasn't angry, so I didn't really want to go, but I did get kind of sad. She asked me a lot of, my background information, and I was telling her about everything that's happened between me and you, and how everybody thinks that that we fight or something, or that I've hurt you or whatever. And, just kind of told her the real story of everything that's happened, and then I explained to her how even my ex has all these old lies against me, where she says that I hurt her while she was pregnant and everything. And I just told her the whole story. I told her how she turned my chair over while I was sitting down and tried to beat me up while I was on the floor, and she fell across me. She fell on top of me. Yeah. But then she goes and lies and said that I pushed her down.
Yeah.
Here's why I believe Olivia, even though it's kind of a he said, she said kind of thing. His ex's name, Olivia. Olivia's not the only one accusing that. Jenelle also said, of course she doesn't bring this up anymore, but she says, David pushed me down, broke my collarbone in my front yard, and she called 911 over that. I mean, that's two women making accusations against David. Did they both lie? And Olivia's was way before he was even famous, so what would she have to gain from accusing that? I think David probably is a violent person, and he's probably lying when he's saying this, but I guess there's no video footage, so we can't say for sure, but I don't buy it.
You just can't lie on somebody like that. I told the counselor all this, and I was just getting upset because, all these lies from people in the past and even people now is what ultimately makes me look like a horrible person.
Yeah.
And it's really messed up. So, when I was talking to the counselor, I was just trying to tell her, I feel like the whole world is against me. And it stems from back then when she told those lies.
I wouldn't say the whole world is against you, you're being a bit dramatic, but a lot of people did watch Teen Mom, and most of the people that watched it don't like you, and it's not an unfounded thing. When you do terrible things, people aren't gonna like you. That's how it works. I mean, you can't just slide by on all your actions. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then to now...
like you were already dealing with it before you even met me. Yeah.
I was already dealing with freaking lies, and then she takes it to the public and tells the courts her lies and tries to hold it against me. Like, how are you gonna freaking lie like that and then try to hold it against me in court? So, in my opinion, if you're trying to take someone's kids away for no reason, then you don't deserve to have kids. Especially if it's my child and you're trying to take him away from me for no reason, then you don't deserve to have him. If you try to have someone locked up and put in jail for no reason, you need to be put in jail.
If I was the social workers attached to this case, I would be hiding my kids. That sounds like a threat to me.
For no reason. For that reason. That's just bullshit.
That's why they have falsifying police report, as a charge.
Right.
Because they don't like dealing with the bullshit.
And see, the thing is, when she took her lies into the courtroom and used it as evidence, well, then it's not considered anything that you can use to hold against someone. Defamation of character or whatever.
Yeah.
You can't sue somebody for defamation of character if it's information that came from court,
I don't think
yeah.
that's true.
which is bullshit because it's public information.
Yeah.
That's putting it in the public.
And they said it on record.
And you said it on record. Like, you should be able to use that. Like, I mean, I didn't mean to get upset. I just...
No, it's okay. No,
You know, I told her, I said...
She wants to know how you truly feel. She doesn't want you to be a hard ass. She wants to truly know how you feel.
David over here picking at his eyelashes, pretending that he's like crying and trying to stop himself, like, I didn't mean to get upset in that room. And Janelle's like, no, babe, I'm so glad that you cried because it made you look like a human. Like, these two are just teaching each other fake crying techniques and like using it against other people. Like, crying doesn't mean that you're right, I'm sorry to say. It doesn't make you right.
See, if you're a hard ass, then she's gonna assume you have an anger problem and that you don't want to talk to her, and you're not like that. And it's good that you're opening up to, you know, to her, because you can trust her, you know? And she's not like someone that can go sell information. Only if we have a HIPAA contract with someone, we're comfortable to talk to them, which is very sad. But it's still, but guess what? It's still going to go to the court, whatever you say. So,
Yeah.
I mean, not really everything in detail, but an overview of what was said. It's still going to go to the court, but guess what? It shows that you're being honest and you're opening up.
Crying
and you're not
doesn't
being,
make you
you're
honest.
not angry. So.
Yeah. Well, you know, I told her about some of the traumatic things that happened in my life and how I was able to control myself in those situations. Because, I mean, like, she asked me, is there anything big or major that ever happened in your life that scared you or was traumatic or whatever? And I told her, I said, yeah, actually, my brother tried to kill me once. I said, and, you know, I just, the only thing I did was try to protect myself. And after, you know, it got to the point where I really thought he was trying to kill me and I had to protect myself with, you know, a weapon, I felt bad afterwards and
I'm sure
tried
you
to
did.
help him. But the thing is, he didn't feel bad.
Yeah.
Even though he slammed a TV on top of my head while I was already
God.
passed out on the floor, he didn't feel bad because when I went to try to save him or help him as he was basically running away, you know, I got up to him and I'm like, dude, let me help you. Let me take you to the hospital or whatever. He punches me in the face.
Yeah.
He had no remorse for slamming a TV on my head and kicking me in the face and sucker punching me and screaming that he's going to kill me the whole time. He had no...
I would love to hear what really happened here because I doubt David is giving the true side of the story, but it is interesting how seemingly every member of this family is incredibly violent and all fights each other. I'm surprised we haven't heard more about this incident. Maybe it wasn't in a police report or anything. I haven't heard it reported. I just find that image so funny that David is acting like he went up to his brother after he beat his ass and was like, bro, let me help you, and he got punched in the face! Like, that's just quite the funny image for me.
No remorse for that. To the hospital, the nurse was like, are you Jamie's brother? Because he's back here wondering if you're here because he said he wants to find you and kill you. And I'm like, what the hell? Like,
Yeah,
he
like,
already
like,
tried
he
to kill me.
He won't let it go.
He won't even let it go, and he's laying in the fucking hospital bed.
Yeah.
Damn. This
Somebody
shit
please
really
dig up
kills
more
me,
about
man.
that incident.
And people expect me not to be angry about stuff like that. Got the whole world against me, and people expect me not to be angry. Angry. You know, there's different types of anger. Just like there's different types of love. You have anger about, you know, sad things that happen in your life. You can have anger about towards a person. There's different types of anger. And if you don't have anger at all, then how could you even be defensive?
Yeah.
How could you have confidence?
You don't need anger to defend yourself. You don't need anger to have confidence. I'm not sure where he's getting this
How
from.
could you go to war? How could you win a game against opponent. If you don't have...
Going to war is not a good thing. Winning a game, you also don't really need to be angry to do that. Competitiveness is different from anger. But anyway, he's looking for anywhere to find some kind of some kind of positive influence of his anger, and he's just like failing really badly.
A little bit of anger in you that gives you the feeling that you're...
Well, anger is natural.
Of course it's natural.
Have you seen...
It's an emotion.
You know the Emoji Movie?
Yeah,
and
angry emoji.
Well, no, not even that. Like, the guy, he has all sorts of different emotions, and they're like, no, you only have one emotion.
Right.
It's like, no, I don't have one emotion. I have many different emotions.
Jenelle is using the Emoji Movie as a defense to her argument. She's using the Emoji Movie as a defense to her husband being so angry that he punches holes in their wall and probably abuses their children and broke Janelle's collarbone. She's using the Emoji Movie, a children's movie that was very poorly rated and everybody made fun of it, as a defense for her husband's anger issues. Just take that in for a second. Take it in. Take a minute to bask in that.
And this is one of them.
A lot of people get labels and stuff like that by going to a doctor, when really, you could have every label in the book if you're judging yourself by the way you act on a daily basis. I mean, hell, I could be bipolar for 10 minutes and then never be bipolar again. You know what I mean? Like,
That's not how bipolar disorder works. Bipolar disorder is something that you have for life. It's not something that you have for 10 minutes. It's a constant thing, and I'm pretty sure Jenelle has it. That's not me diagnosing. She was on the show and she said she had it like a long time ago. So it's not a 10-minute thing. It's a lifelong thing. 10-minute bipolar. You could have bipolar for 10 minutes and then never have it again. Okay.
just if I go to the doctor and say I was bipolar the other day, they're gonna write it down on a piece of paper, and then it's always gonna say that I'm bipolar.
Well, you know what bothers...
No, that's not how doctors diagnose you.
And they're gonna try to give me medicine for it.
It bothers me that one person says, "Oh, I'm scared of David," and all of them follow. Or one of them say, "David's angry," and all of them follow. It's like, wait, have you ever been around David angry? No. Then why are you so scared of David? Like,
David popped a balloon. I'm scared for my life. Literally had like 2 beers, and then got taken in balloons on my way out. On my way out, and popped the balloons with a damn keychain.
It was a knife.
People are dumb.
and then everyone reported it was a knife.
It was on camera.
Yeah.
It was a knife.
Freaking idiots.
Like, it's never ending. All of this haunts you. Everywhere you go, every time you go to court, oh, well, what about when you did this? Well, what about when you did that? And it's like, no, all that, first of all, MTV's edited, so you can't use any of that against me or anyone else in court. You just can't. It's highly edited. You don't have the raw footage.
Yeah. Plus, like, when you meet new people or if you talk to your friends, you don't know what to think about them. If they believe some freaking lie they heard on the internet, they lie to you and say, I don't believe none of that crap. I don't believe that. Of course I don't believe the news. But they might still believe it.
But then when you go in a gas station, you have the gas station owner saying, "Oh, David, I see you all over the news, but I don't believe it." And then you think in the back of your mind,
he probably believes it.
Do you believe it? Why would you bring it up?
Yeah.
Like, everyone brings it up. And then it's like, if we don't talk about it, if we don't share our side of the story, then we're hiding something and everyone else must be right. When no, we just really can't talk right now. It's like, we're doing what our lawyers advise us to do. We're not trying to piss off the judge. I'll just document everything that's going on. Are you hungry?
Oh.
Like, I was hungry. But again, anxiety. Like, before you got in the car, I was explaining how, we went and got the substance assessment done. And
We don't have any substance problems. Talking about smoking marijuana when we go out of town to somewhere we have a license to do it at.
yeah.
Like, if that's a problem, then Maybe you should fire all the doctors in California.
The substance lady, when we went in there and started to explain our story, she was very confused why we were in there, because when we explained her everything, all they found against us was cussing at each other. She was like, so why are you here?
She's like, there's got to be more.
And she's like, there's got to be more evidence or something why they're making you do all this. And we said, no, literally what we just told you is everything that's happening. His daughter went on stand, said she doesn't like us cussing, asked if there was physical abuse. She said no. They said any kids get hit or spanked? No. What happens when they get in trouble? Oh, they have to put their nose in the corner for 5 minutes. So, I mean, this substance lady was highly confused why we were even there, and said, okay, I'll send them the report. So I guess she's gonna maybe put in a good word for us, or didn't find an issue with us, which is great. Like I said, David has all of his anger management classes scheduled. He's been going, and it's awesome because, like I said, it's one-on-one, so it's very private. He doesn't have to deal with being in a group setting with everyone snickering and whispering and taking pictures, or going to sell the story about what was talked about. And then it's like, even if he did go to group,
Can't have people revealing the truth, am I right? Private session where you can just manipulate the counselor and lie without being told that, hey, that's all bullshit. Great how that works out, huh?
then you, like, if you didn't talk, they would be like, David didn't cooperate. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know.
And then the judge would be like, well, you didn't cooperate. Like, so we try to think about every scenario that they can put us in, and we try to cross our T's and dot our I's. My lawyer says. He's awesome. My lawyer's awesome. Just to let you guys know.
Yeah, he's a beast
Clearly he is. He got you out of all this despite the fact that you two are terrible.
in the courtroom.
He is a beast in the courtroom, and he really cares about our situation, and he's doing everything possible he can to try to help us, and he feels bad. So. But I guess I'll report to you guys later and give you an update tomorrow.
I just gotta say, I love the credits where Jenelle's acting like she's this big movie producer. I can tell that her stuff is made in iMovie, and my stuff's made in iMovie too, so I can't really talk, but it's not like it comes free with your computer. It's really not hard to edit in it at all, and that's why I use it, because I know I'm not good at editing stuff, and neither is she, but I don't claim to be a producer and director and editor of all this stuff. Anyway, so that is the end of I Have Something to Say, episode 4. And this one was a little shorter than the rest. I think she's getting a little lazy with her thing, but it just included the same amount of lies as was in every other video. I found it pretty funny how David was trying to brush over all this stuff with his anger management, being like, oh, I was trying to help my brother. I mean, I was just defending myself against my brother trying to kill me, and everyone gets angry. I mean, have you guys seen the Emoji Movie? Duh. You guys look at emojis on your phones? There's lots of faces on there. That means everyone gets angry. Like, yeah, everyone gets angry, but not everyone commits violence against their wife, against their children, punches holes in the wall. Anger is normal. Violence is not. And I don't think that should be too hard for most people to comprehend. Also, you know, in the beginning was a lot of Jenelle bragging, saying, I did all this, I didn't even have to, it was just a suggestion. It wasn't really a suggestion. And also, they don't have jobs, they don't have their kids, what else are they going to do with their day? They already smoked weed the first entire half of the day. Might as well go to these counseling stuff for the second half. So I'm not thinking it's like a big thing for them, or that they really changed because they went to 6 one-hour classes for $600. That's my thoughts on this episode. Go ahead and leave a comment down below telling me what you think of this episode of I Have Something to Say. If you want me to continue this series, I would really appreciate it if you guys would subscribe, like the video, show your support. It really helps my channel, help me reach 3,000 subscribers. Leave a comment down below and make sure to subscribe for more Teen Mom recaps every week. And I will be doing this next week for episode 5.